prayer, please?
We're broadcasting as well.
Yeah.
And probably not, I'm guessing not a prayer to God, don't let us screw this up.
Yeah, that's a good prayer. Amen.
And this is not a good sign. I see that Sarah has added Google Effects.
Okay, I'll stop. I closed it.
Well, let's see.
Good morning to everyone that's watching live, now that we are live. There might be 3 of them, but...
Oh, listen to him being professional. You see, you should have done it. Confidence.
They changed the Chitango window. It's like different, and
Yes, it is.
yeah.
They did that a couple weeks ago. I think it was.
Did
I
they?
can't see
Oh,
how
there
many
we go.
people are in the chat room now.
It's down in the bottom right.
Oh, they moved it.
Yeah. 4 of them right now.
Oh, thank goodness.
4 people. God bless them.
Oh, boy.
Maria.
It's just going to be like that. Actually, wait a minute. I'm going to put the tiara on. Do you know what Steve Nelson did to me this morning? He tweeted out this fantastic armchair for Lisa Hendy. Only he said, for my diva friends. Did he call me a diva? Did he call me a diva? Where is he?
That is kind of perfect, actually.
What?
That picture.
It's pretty fantastic.
All right, well, you guys want to get started?
Yes, let's.
Yeah, I
let's
didn't.
start.
I don't have my mixer set up or anything, and so hello everybody. I'm in California, and it's a wreck out here, and I'm a wreck. So there's the mustache. Thank you.
Maria has on a mustache.
So let's see.
I was supposed to do the show today, but
No, I'm
I
gonna
don't have a mustache.
I'm gonna leave, and Maria's gonna do the show.
No, you're not. You're going to stay and do it, please. Well, this is the 30-minute episode of...
I don't even have a cup of coffee or anything.
Hmm.
There's no coffee.
7:30 there, so that's even worse.
30 minutes. Let's go. 30 minutes. 29 minutes left in this episode of Catholic
4 hours
Weekend,
of sleep. Okay.
number 472.
42 for the week ending Saturday, what is it, the 11th?
Yep.
October 11th. Okay. Well, here goes. You're listening to Catholic Weekend, episode number 242 for the week ending Saturday, October 11th, 2014. Do you hear the music in the background?
Yeah, I hear the train wreck. I hear the train.
Choo-choo.
Oh, that must be the co-host, Maria Johnson.
Oh, boy. How are you guys doing this morning? We all know that poor Jeff is just a plane wreck, right?
Well, we'll
Flying all night?
get into that in a moment. And also joining us today in Atlanta is Sarah Vabulous, the Catholic Drinky.
Hello, everybody.
Hello. And last but certainly not least, out in Montana, in Malta, Montana, is Father Corey Stika.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Is that where they make Malta meal?
Oh. I think some of the green from it comes from here, but...
No.
All
Every
right.
time I hear that you're in Malta, I think of the country.
In the middle of the Mediterranean.
Yeah, here in about, 3 months, I'll wish I was in the country.
So we have the boys over in the western U.S. I'm in Southern California. Excuse me. And we have the girls in Atlanta, Georgia. And yay, we're on Catholic Weekend.
It definitely feels like a weekend today.
Oh, we're in bad shape today, aren't we?
I didn't want to get up out of bed.
So I didn't either, but that's just the way it is. And to do the show. So how has everybody been? Who wants to start?
I have a funny story.
Okay.
Please,
Funny
regale
story.
us with funniness.
If you're not
So-
watching the video, folks, you're really missing quite a bit. Maria is playing with visual effects, and she has a snorkel and a mask on and a clown hat and everything else. So, okay, go ahead, Sarah, with your story.
alleged funny story. So
Alleged.
So last night I went out to dinner with a friend, tried a brand new restaurant, and we're about halfway through our meal, and I hear this voice, "Hi, Sarah," and I'm thinking, who is this? And so next thing you know, I have a hand on my head, and I hear someone say to the hostess who's trying to seat someone at a table next to us, can you please move me to a different table? I cannot be on a first date next to my sister.
Every kind of awkward.
And so here's my brother, who's early for the date because he wanted to get set up and get the whole table and order some drinks for the girl to be there. So I thought that was very nice that he was super early. But so the hostess and the manager both had a really good chuckle about this. So I get up, give my brother a hug, and then he gets moved to a different side of the restaurant. But it was great because I got to spy on their date.
Oh, was he all awkward and stuff?
No, he was looking very polite and he was well dressed, but it was just so hilarious. Of all of the restaurants in all of Atlanta, that we would go to the same place at the same time, and he would try to get sat at the table next to me, like just ridiculous.
It's like a bad episode of Casablanca.
You know your siblings when you pick the same restaurant.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
That is a great story. Oh, Father Corey, what's been going on with your life?
Oh, much of the usual. Just busy. Dealing with insurance companies is my big thing right now. I had a little meetup with a deer a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, $3,200 worth of damage on my pickup truck.
Ooh.
Wow.
Yeah.
How much damage for the deer?
Pretty much terminal.
Yeah.
There wasn't much of deer left. I mean, the deer was. A couple of people actually asked, so did you grab it? Because Montana does have a salvage law when it comes to.
Oh, man.
By the time my truck was done, it was hamburger. I left it for the coyotes. So, yeah.
Maybe it was just a plan to drive your Charger.
Exactly.
So your insurance problems are not as bad as the deer's problems.
Yeah, exactly.
Think of it that way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but the deer got its lick. Not just did it damage the headlights and the grill and everything. My truck has a transmission cooler, and it clipped the transmission cooler, which meant my truck was leaking transmission fluid, which means it wasn't drivable.
Mm.
So I had to call AAA and do all that fun stuff too before I could even get it looked at. But so that's been one of my fun things for the week, is waiting and dealing with State Farm. But they came through, so I gave the okay this week, and hopefully next week I'll have my truck back.
Excellent. I was just thinking.
You?
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I was gonna say, were you standing out on the side of the road with the deer going like a good neighbor? State Farm is there. Boom.
Let's just say that wasn't the words that came out of my mouth after it happened.
Oh, nice.
We'll save that for the after show.
Yeah.
For the after show.
Not as bad as some might have said, but still not publishable here.
Oh, boy.
How's your week been, Miss Maria?
My week has been stupendous. I spent last week in Boston. I went up for some work with a new publisher, and which, by the way, included an awkward bar crawl with people I don't know. And yeah, it was very weird. But then, of course, I stayed in Boston.
Well, that's the way to get to know them,
That's right. So I said, let me find an appropriate thing to wear. There's my monocle. So I had a great time. So I stayed over the weekend. I'll tell you about it later when we start talking about some other things, because, of course, how could I be in Boston and not check in with Pat? And she hauled me all the way across the state. I did not know that we were almost in New York. She took me to Stockbridge, and we went to the National Shrine of the Divine Mercy, which was wonderful.
Oh, we need to find out more about that.
Yep. So now I'm back to work, and then I'm leaving again Monday to go off to somewhere in Texas.
It's good you know that.
See, I'm sorry that I just bored you all to death. Well, Harlingen, Texas. I don't think we have any listeners from Harlingen, Texas.
I just received a text from my sister who left near midnight last night here in Southern California to. I thought they were going directly to Cancun, but apparently they've gone through Mexico City because they're now on an airplane leaving Mexico City for Cancun.
Oh,
Wow.
So, yeah. So let me tell you about my fun.
Yeah.
So Jeff, what's going on in your life?
The reason why,
Oh.
this is my what looks like when I get up without taking a shower or whatever. I have, what do you call that, bed hair?
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that I would come out here this weekend to visit my mom in California. And I just came back from a 3-day trip yesterday, and I didn't even go home. I was still in my uniform, and I was able to finally jump seat on a flight out here to LA. I missed 2 flights because they were so full. I was trying to just be a regular passenger, and that didn't work out well. I was traveling standby, so my backup was this jump seat on the later flight, and I didn't get in until I don't know, close to 8 o'clock here, and then I had to rent a car, and then I finally arrived here at my sister's house, and then, oh, by the way, she tells me, oh yeah, you're free to stay here at the house, but we've already left for the airport because we're doing this trip to Cancun, and oh, by the way, we're painting the house, and oh, by the way, they're putting in new carpet, and everything is pushed in from the walls here. I mean, it's quite a wreck. That's usually the table where I do my broadcast from. It's covered with glassware and plates and.
Remind me never to have you come and podcast while you're house sitting for me, lest you show the entire universe.
I'd have to assign an agreement that says you can't show the. But that's okay. I thought I could work around this. I can find a spot to podcast. Well, apparently I did. But they also decided to leave their dog. The dog was supposed to be in a kennel, and but they figured, well, Jeff's going to be there, so we don't need to spend money on the kennel. And by the way, they didn't give me any instructions at all about how to take care of him, like how to. I don't know where his food is. It's a mess here. So
hey Jeff, when did they get back?
They're not coming back until like next Sunday or something. So
do you have directions for how to kennel their dog now?
No, my sister's son, so that would be my nephew, is coming tomorrow. I'm leaving tomorrow morning, and then sometime tomorrow he's going to come over here and stay here and pet sit. So take care of him. So everything is covered. So a dog can go like a day without eating, right?
Yeah, they can probably go a couple of days without eating. I'm lying.
I saw some Cheez-Its over here, and I thought,
look in the kitchen, look in the pantry. Do they have a garage?
No, I've looked at all those places, and I have not found them. But maybe I can text my sister back and say, hey, great, where's the dog food? Well, anyway, so I didn't get to bed. Did I mention the dog would not stop barking at me last night? And I thought the neighbors were going to call the police because he was like really upset, and he didn't recognize me, and because I guess my sister and her boyfriend weren't here, so I was out of context, and I was in a uniform, and so it probably didn't come out. So he barked until close to a little after midnight last night before he finally stopped barking, and I didn't get to bed until very, very late. So there you go. That's my story.
Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, well, I know you've heard that story now a couple times, Maria. Does it get any better?
and to think I didn't want to do a show the other week because I had a hangover.
Well, I have a bad headache as well. I feel like I have a hangover. But anyway, that now you're all caught up. I'm going to visit my mom today and then head back to Atlanta tomorrow, and then I have a trip on Monday. So.
Oh, well, thank you for sharing. That wraps up another episode.
All right, well, thanks for joining us, everyone. That'd be a very short episode. Oh, by the way, we're sorry that we didn't do an episode last week. It just Didn't work out at all. I was on a trip, and I thought, well, no problem. I'll have somebody else on the panel run the show, and apparently everybody was gone.
Yeah.
We're all gone.
No.
And it's like, oh, I'm
Oh.
busy. Oh, I'm busy. Oh, I was getting my nails done.
Ooh.
That's it?
That's what your reason. I was in Boston, at least.
Well, I know you have no excuse.
I was hanging out with girlfriends. Sometimes you just need to do that.
That's absolutely so true. We need to go get our nails did.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Hey, so let me give a couple of shout-outs to some people
All right.
that I have inadvertently run into on social media. One was through somebody else. So you guys know Allison Gingras. You guys know her, right?
I've heard the name.
She's reconciled to me. She's got a neat little app that she did that was like Notes from Jesus. Hold on, I got to get this right. Words with Jesus. And it's a really pretty little app that just sends a little inspirational scripture piece to you every morning. So anyways, she sends me an email telling me that she ran into a listener of Catholic Weekend. I didn't know there were those people out there.
What? Somebody's listening?
Somebody, not only is somebody listening, but saying to someone that might get to us, listen, there's a little button on the side that where you can send feedback. Send us fan mail. We'd love it.
Fan mail, hate mail, spam. No, no.
All hate mail directed to Father Corey.
Yeah.
The filter set up.
That's why he joined the show. He's the official hate mailer.
I'm the
Hate mail
noob of the
collector.
group, so I get all the hate mail.
And he has a standard response to everybody. I'll pray for you.
Oh, great.
God bless you.
Oh my, those words are very, very short.
Oh. Well, you know, in the South, the greatest insult ever is, oh, bless his little heart.
Yeah.
Anyway, a shout out to Ryan Adamson. Hey, Ryan, come on sometime. We can invite you on to see if you got any chops to talk to people. If
Hey,
you have
Ryan.
to send me messages through Allison.
Right now, if you want.
Right now, come on.
Send you the link.
Anyway, hi to Ryan, and thanks for your kind words, and thanks for being a listener. And it's cool. I think he's local too. I think he's not too far from us.
Oh.
Maybe in Athens or something. So anyway, hey Ryan, and also another shout out to Colette Higgins. Hi Colette. I just now started following her on Twitter. If you look at how unbalanced my Twitter numbers are, I've got a bunch of followers, and I just don't ever get around to following anybody.
I'm bad about that, too.
So, and it has nothing to do with me not wanting to do it, just not ever thinking that I should sit down and follow back people. So every once in a while, I have this sporadic hour of follows, and where I go through the list and I go, oh, follow. So hi Colette, thanks for sending me a message, and hey, if you're watching, I'm waving at you. If not, I'm just stumbling through my words.
Very well, I might add.
There you go.
Sarah?
I feel like this is a new low for Catholic Weekend. We're resorting to shout-outs.
Well, only because it was this week. I had two different messages, and I'm like, wow, I really ought to just be a little bit more.
It's the feedback we get.
Well, people only want to send secret messages. They listen to us ashamed.
Sarah, you're a social media expert, right?
I think so, yeah.
I have a question, a really serious question.
All right, let's discuss.
Because I have the same problem that Maria does as far as social media is concerned. With a lot of people following me, but I don't reciprocate. And is that poor etiquette when it comes to Twitter?
No. I mean, I have 5,500 followers on Twitter, and I only follow 800-something people. And that's just not because I don't love everybody, but because if I followed all 5,000 people, I would never be able to see tweets. So, but what I do is I respond to most everybody who tweets at me. I try to be good about that if I can remember. Someone tweets at me, I'll interact with them. That's
So,
really more of the key, is to just be interactive with the folks that reach out to you. Or what some people do is they'll say hi to all their new followers. They won't necessarily follow them back, but they'll tweet at them and thank them for following. So it's just up to you and your personality style.
well, let's say I really did want to follow them. I really don't, but let's say I did. Is there like some kind of a program that you can get that would like automatically do it, or is that not cool?
There probably is some sort of hack where you could auto-follow people, but that just seems like a bad idea.
Hmm.
Yeah. Sometimes the people who follow me are not probably really people.
Yeah.
Although every once in a while I do get enraged, like I did last night, and I will tweet at a corporate entity. And
Oh,
Hey,
tell.
it works.
It
I
does.
do that.
It does work.
What were you upset about?
We never go to Olive Garden. I'd rather go to I shouldn't have used the name.
Nope, do
I'd
it.
rather go. I'd just rather go to a local restaurant that's owned by real people that are actually trying to make it in the business, as opposed to some awful franchise that no one has any vested interest in for the 2 months that they work in. And that has been our experience there. Every time we go, it's convenient. It's a great place to go get a drink and maybe have some appetizers or something. And I guess I can't even remember how long ago it was that we just had a lousy customer service experience with a crummy waiter. That's a terrible waitress, actually. So we told the manager that it was awful, and he gave us a little gift card thing. Please come back and give us another chance. So I totally forgot about it and threw the card on the desk while I was cleaning out an area of John's desk, which is like an excavation. and, and I found the card. Well, meanwhile, this week, someone gave me a gift card to the same establishment for, I don't know, it wasn't enough for a full meal, but I figured we could go get some appetizers or something.
Are you talking about the Denny's of Italian food?
The Denny's of Italian food.
Mhm.
So we went, but the bar, we've always just gone to the bar. I mean, how can you really screw up a beer that you can't really? So,
You'd be surprised.
oh my goodness. Well, anyway, the service was atrocious. So here we are, back with this certificate from the manager, telling us to give them another chance, and the second chance was worse than the first debacle. And it was just, I mean, the waitress was a caricature anyway. And when she came to the table with that gift card, I don't know how old it was. I found it on the desk. Apparently it had expired, or it was something that she wasn't familiar with. Anyway, it wasn't enough for her to come back and say, listen, we can't honor that because it's expired, which is what a normal person would say.
Mhm.
She went on for like 10 minutes laughing about, I've never seen this. And she was just going on and on and on and on. And I'm looking at John and I'm thinking, any minute now, he's just going to stand up and walk out of the restaurant,
Well,
which I was ready to do.
Mm.
But he said, no, we're just gonna use up this real gift certificate that's legit. And as we're reading the back of it, we could have used it at the steakhouse, which is actually pretty good locally. So anyway, that was my rant. There's no redemption in this. Moving on.
There's nothing worse than bad service at a
isn't the
restaurant.
garlic bread though? I thought that isn't the garlic bread pretty good?
Listen, I don't even care anymore because never again. So I ranted on Twitter and like within moments, oh, please let us make it better. No, close it. That will make it better. Put up a real Denny's there. That'll make it better. Oh my goodness. Anyway, back to the serious Twitter thing though. But that's something that I struggle with too, because like I recognize what we're doing, especially with SQPN, which is that we're reaching out to people who aren't necessarily the uber Catholics out there. You know, people who like us are just regular folks trying to figure it out. And so I want to engage with anybody that engages with me, and I want to be able to, be not charitable in the sense that like I feel sorry for you, but charitable in the sense that you're another human being that's reaching out to me, and I'd like to at least honor that with a hello. I guess that's the solution that Sarah was talking about. We don't all have to be best friends with everybody in the world, but we certainly should, have some kind of engagement. That's part of what the new evangelization is. So I wouldn't want to hurt anybody's feelings. So if you're a listener and I don't follow you, it's not because I don't like you. It's because I don't know how to use this really well. Huh?
Maybe it is for some of them.
What's that?
That you don't like them. I'm sorry, trying to make a joke.
Well, you caught me.
Let's talk about every one of your Twitter people, okay? Give a thumbs up, thumbs down.
No.
Weed out your Twitter followers.
No, I don't know. I mean, I ought to just really. I don't know. I really don't know what to do. Twitter has this new mute feature where you can mute people who annoy you. That's kind of entertaining.
It is super entertaining. I do that.
Do they know that you've muted them?
No, no one knows. That's the best part.
That's so good.
There's one person. There's one account that I've permanently muted, but it's only because sometimes they retweet me, and if I unfollow them, I feel like they're gonna unfollow me. It's just some beer news account that tweets every 30 seconds, and so it's just a matter of, oh my gosh, I can't handle this. This is way too many tweets.
But that's not a person that's being.
It's not a person. No, it's not like a normal person. So.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, seriously, Father, how do we handle this? Any ideas?
I don't know. I mean,
you have to go to confession or take a shower or both.
No, you don't have to go to confession because you didn't follow. Bless me, Father, for I've sinned. I have not followed 10 Twitter followers this week. Admittedly, I'm kind of the same way. I'm kind of about the same ratio as Sarah as far as not following people, and sometimes it is just that laziness of, okay, someone followed me, well, I'll check it out later, and then you forget. Sometimes you look at it and go, this looks spammy or fishy or just not interested. And sometimes I've clicked on the person's picture to see what they're about and go, nope.
Which is probably very wise.
There's been more than a few where I've gone either this person is so way off base I don't even want to see them in my feed or whatever. But I think you got to kind of play it by ear. The problem with Twitter, of course, and I know Sarah knows this as well, is if you follow too many people, you can't read a thing.
Yeah.
You can't follow a thing. Even I've got 1,100, I think. Yeah, I'm right at 1,100 people I'm following, and I know I miss stuff. I'll catch. You'll catch back up to things later as they're conversing. It's like, I missed that. How did I miss that?
Yeah. So I just don't even try. It's not personal at all. Like if I don't follow you on Twitter, I'm really sorry. It's just.
No, you're not. You're not sorry.
I mean, I pick what's most interesting. I mean, it's my Twitter feed after all. So at the end of the day, it's personal for you, and you get to make the decision of this person tweets about things that I want to read, or this person doesn't, and you get to make that decision for yourself.
Well, it's kind of funny though. It's just there's kind of almost this gap of those who are. And I hate to say it, but it in many cases it's age related, of those who are more comfortable with the social media, and they don't look at it as, oh, I'm making this deep, intimate friendship. It's just I'm following those I'm interested in, they're following those they're interested in. If we happen to meet up, great. If not, oh well, don't really think about it. Now I know people younger who they burst into tears because their Facebook friends unfriend them or whatever, and I'm not being silly. I'm serious. I know people who get really upset when one of their Facebook besties decides to unfriend them for whatever reason. And
it cuts you pretty deep. I had it happen recently, and I was kind of sad about it. I'm not gonna lie.
Are you kidding me?
It's fine. It's fine. At the end of the day, I'm like, you know what? If you're gonna be petty like that, I don't want to be friends with you anyway. So.
I'm going to totally talk about her because I know she's here, but I've got a friend here, and she's watching the show right now, I'm pretty sure, and she'll give me a hard time about it. But there you go. A friend of mine here in Malta who's on Facebook, she's got a friend who I think it's probably about 4 times that her friend has unfriended her and then refriended her and unfriended her and refriended her. Every time she's gotten upset, she unfriends. So
Oh
it's like,
no.
so it's become just kind of a standard joke. Oh, she's unfriended me again. Oh, she's back.
Yeah.
Oh, my
It's
goodness.
like you know when we were growing up, I know at least we used to just write each other nasty notes and not sign them and leave them in the locker or whatever,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
like anonymous notes. Now it's like I'm gonna defriend you. Ah, ha, ha.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to I'm just not your friend anymore.
Yeah.
Who break up like that? Two friends break up like that. I can't be your friend anymore. I'm afraid I'm a little bit more passive aggressive than that. I just kind of disappear. But but you know the way I handle the interactions is that I look at my Twitter feed as just a live event. And if I happen to see whatever the 10 or the 12 or however many fit on my screen notifications are, that's what I read, and then I move on. Unless somebody does interact with me directly, and then I do try to respond as
The
well.
only stickiness
To like
is
it.
like when you get the at like mentions or whatever.
Yeah.
You can kind of filter all those things, and that's the kind of way that I do it. If somebody's specifically tweeting me with an at reply or whatever, what is that called? Is that right? Your Twitter at.
Yeah,
Twitter.
at reply or getting tagged on Twitter or whatever.
Yeah. And then I realize that people are actually directly they're expecting me to actually acknowledge that they have tweeted me or they're asking me something specific or whatever. And then those are, at least they can stick a little bit. And yeah, I kind of think of Twitter as kind of this stream of information, and that when you open up Twitter, you're just kind of sticking your toe into the stream at that point. But if you weren't there an hour ago, you've missed everything that went by on that stream, right?
Yeah, but okay, so that was an hour ago. Like I don't sweat that. Actually, Elizabeth Scalia calls Twitter a pub, and I think it's a brilliant metaphor for it, because you don't care about what was happening in the pub an hour ago. You showed up. Those are the people you're with. You drink with them for a little bit, and then you move on. And I guess that's how I treat it. Unless you
I go back and read some old tweets.
Did you really?
Yeah, I have a separate
have a
separate list that's super short of just some of my favorite people, some of my best friends or whatever, because some of them have hilarious tweets and I really don't want to miss some of them because they're really good. So I have a list of just, it's got maybe like 30 Twitter handles on it, maybe, and like the Pope's on there and just stuff like that, so that I can
on there.
I'm not telling, so so that I can make sure there's a few that, like, some people's tweets that I don't miss, because I don't want to miss them. They're funny.
Okay, well that's a good way to manage it, I think.
I have this one friend who I think writes the best tweets in the entire world, just the way that she phrases things, and so I really never want to miss one of hers, because I legit laugh out loud basically every tweet that she puts out. So.
Well, so you know what I did, and Jeff, we have trouble with that as well. Anytime that we get a direct message, it comes to my phone.
Oh yeah, well, I turned that off. Because how many times have I
answered publicly?
Yeah.
Especially Sarah.
I'll see it. I'll be like, Jeff, you're direct messaging again publicly.
That's what she says now. You did it again, Jeff.
You did it again.
Grandpa.
Yeah, basically.
Wow.
Shut up.
All right.
Well, Maria, talk to us more about your trip.
Tweeting and yeah, thanks. I was about to segue out of here too. So I went to Boston, and it was raining in Boston, which was really cruddy weather for the fall because everything was kind of muted, and I really wanted to see some of the color. But anyway, had a really good couple of days with a publisher, and man, they just work you to death when they're there, but they treat you really well. And then I was off and was able to enjoy part of the weekend with Pat, and we went out to Stockbridge to the National Shrine of the Divine Mercy. And I think y'all know, or maybe listeners who've been around for many months know, that my dad passed away this summer. And he was very, very devoted to the Divine Mercy. And so it was just a real chance to go out there and pray for him and pray for us and the family and all of you guys, because I really took so many intentions with me out there. But it was great, and it was such an awesome drive out there. And it wasn't raining the whole time. And then we got there, and it was the feast day of St. Faustina. So they were doing an outside mass, and they were singing the chaplet outdoors. And Pat and I are just a couple of old ladies, and we were cold and wet. She's not listening, so it'll get back to her, I'm sure. So we were able to go out there and sit in the little church, which is really tiny, but the outdoor section was really set up for mass. And it was really, really neat. And it was raining, so it was funny to see the priests wearing clear ponchos so that you could see their vestments.
That is funny.
Meanwhile, the faithful are getting soaked. But I didn't, and I tell you, I had a really cool experience while I was there. We had a chance. She was showing me around. It was the first time I've been there. So we prayed at a relic of St. Faustina and St. John Paul II.
Oh, cool.
Which was really super cool. And what's the name of his little yarmulke? What's that called? What's that called?
The kiddo.
That's it. So they had one on display there. The Pope's yarmulke. Can you tell I grew up in South Florida?
First, all I could think was Adam Sandler's yarmulke song.
Yeah, that's exactly what popped into my head.
So, whatever.
Here comes Hanukkah.
Only 11 weekends until Christmas, y'all. So anyway, so that was really lovely, and then we kind of huddled together in a pew to pray the chaplet, and there was nobody in the church because maybe a couple of other old ladies that didn't want to get wet, but for the most part, everybody was outside for Mass, and so there was that moment of, should we be in Mass, or is this what we're supposed to be doing? And this is when I had that beautiful moment, because I could hear parts of the Mass coming up from the field, but I couldn't hear all of it, just very, very select prayers that were coming in from far away. And it was such a beautiful experience for me to hear them like that in isolation, kind of out of context. I mean, I knew the context, and I knew exactly where they were in the Mass because of the prayer, but it was like I was hearing it, from a different angle, and it just made it all the more profound. It was really, really a fantastic experience. So that was really my big takeaway from the day. It was really, really a neat thing.
That's cool.
The end. That's it. That's my story.
That sounds like a great trip.
It was very beautiful. And then on the way out, actually, I think they put up some new Stations of the Cross. Somebody on Facebook, I posted a picture, and somebody mentioned that. So yes, in the rain, we actually did do the Stations of the Cross. So I suppose we could have gone to Mass, but as it happened, it worked out beautifully, and we could hear them singing way off in the distance. They sang the chaplet, which I've only had an opportunity to sing once, and it's also very pretty. So yeah, that was my week. So it was an epic pilgrimage for me.
Yay, epic pilgrimage.
So what's going on over there in the Vatican and the extraordinary Synod of the Family? What any fireworks or interesting things happening there?
Admittedly, I haven't watched it as closely as others might have. I'll catch the occasional tweet. By the way,
apparently they're talking about sex, Father.
Oh, terrible. Admittedly, I'm a little jealous because a classmate of mine from my theology studies is the Spanish language commentator, or not commentator. when they have the press conferences, he's the Spanish language.
Oh, the translator?
Yeah. I don't know if he's translator or he's just the press contact for the Spanish
Oh,
language
okay.
press. Anyways, so it's like, how did he pull that off? Oh yeah.
I'm not friending him.
Yeah. He's Mr. He's got the voice for it and everything, and no, he's always been involved in the media, so it's really good for him that he's able to be over there and do that. He's a priest from the Archdiocese of Chicago. Anyways, I have been watching this closely. It really, I'm sure the media here is pumping it up more than there really is. I mean, there have been some talks that I've seen summarized in the U.S. media that I just I wonder if they pulled like one sentence out of the actual talk, and that was the whole thing, this, or they're taking it out of context. Gee, the U.S. media take it out of context? That never happens.
Well,
So unfortunately, I'm sure we really don't know all the details of what has been talked about. I don't see this one as having the fireworks everybody thinks, because I think what people forget is this is actually a preparatory synod, as I understand it, that it's preparing for a longer one next year. So it's actually going to be 2 synods on the family. And like I said, this one is just, I think, supposedly laying the groundwork for whatever is going to come out next year.
Well, I'm sure that it's bringing to light a lot of the topics that are relevant to us,
yeah,
to the faithful.
Right. Well, it's interesting because one thing I've been seeing is a lot of people. There are not a lot of people, but there are those here in the United States who are shocked that they're not talking specifically about issues here in the United States. That it's not like, oh, we have to focus our attention on the United States and Western Europe. And yes, they're talking about issues here, like they had a number of couples from the United States that have gone over and have spoken to the synod. They've had, of course, there are bishops and cardinals and so on from the United States who have been there and who are speaking and so on. But it's really is a global synod. It really is something where there are issues from throughout the world and things that we think are like the pressing issue of the week. Other parts of the world are going, yeah, we don't really care about that. That's not our problem. That's not our issue with the family right now. And I think that's kind of catching people off guard that know the cultural pressures we have in this country to on issues of cohabitation and contraception and divorce and same-sex marriage. Those aren't always the issues that people are discussing. Those aren't the issues that maybe they're thinking are the most important in the world right now. Some of them, yes, they are, but not all of them. And not all of them we're going to spend the whole 2 weeks talking about the problems of the church in the United States.
Yeah.
And it's far more than that. And I think...
Yeah. Well, there's a little bit of xenophobia on the part of, I think, of American Catholics. And you know what? Let me take that back. Not so much American Catholics as the American media. I mean, I just read a scathing attack on the synod because the 7 points that this individual thought were relevant to the church were not being discussed. I'm like, I wanted to respond to the guy and say, because those 7 points, if we followed through with them, would make us not Catholic. Right. It's kind of like saying, these are the issues I have with baseball, and so these are the rules that I want to change in baseball so that it looks more like football. Well, it doesn't work that way.
Go play football.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, I don't know, maybe I'm a little more optimistic. I wouldn't say it's so much xenophobia as blindness to anything outside of the United States. And maybe not even anything outside of the United States, but anything outside of the more populated areas of the United States, the areas where the people live. It's kind of the old, the journalist who, after Nixon was elected, said, well, I don't know anyone who voted for Nixon. heard it again when Bush was elected. I don't know anybody who voted for Bush. Well, get out of your little bubble. You know, it's that kind of thing. It's just we're so focused on thinking we're the power, we're the one that people need to follow, we're the ones, you know, so our concerns need to be heard. And yes, our concerns need to be heard, but that doesn't mean that they're going to focus on them.
Right.
You know, and there may be other concerns. I also think people are going I've been seeing in social media among kind of my friends, we talked about that earlier, Twitter and all that. Been seeing among the people that I do follow kind of a concern that this sit-in is going to come out and completely change the church's teaching on marriage and family and all that. And I don't think so. I think people are going to be surprised when the sit-in does pretty much, even with all the media and the hoopla about, you know, certain cardinals spouting off and all this, it's not going to change. The church's teachings are not going to change.
Right.
Marriage is still going to be between one man and one woman. It's still going to be held that it's supposed to be indissoluble. You know, one marriage. And the only way you can go into a second marriage, quote unquote, is to find out the first one you tried was null, an annulment. Things like that. It's not going to change. Now, there might be discussion of exactly what do we need to be doing with marriage preparation to make sure people understand that. There is probably going to be some discussion of how do we do annulments in a way that is still faithful to church teaching, but does it in a way that makes it more clear to the couple and makes it, I don't want to say easier, because we don't want to make things like that easier. It's already, unfortunately, way too easy. Too many couples just are able to do it. But makes the process smoother, maybe. You know. So I think people are not going to see the changes they're expecting, they want, or they dread. You know.
Yeah. I agree with you. I think that's what's going to happen at the end of it, but it doesn't stop all the popular press from speculating about these changes in dogma and doctrines and everything else that they expect to happen, because we have such a progressive pope. You know, it's just people don't get it. You know, again, people don't get it.
And we've got certain high-ranking officials who are going around doing the speaking tours. It seems like it, talking about, oh yes, we're going to change this, and we're going to allow communion for the divorced and remarried, and da 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 da. I don't see that happening. I really don't, because if nothing else, we have the promise of the Holy Spirit is going to guide and protect the church in keeping in Christ's teachings.
And thank God for that.
Exactly.
Now I'm going to play something here, and I don't know if you're going to be able to hear it because I don't have my normal setup. Did we hear that?
Yeah, it was just really loud.
Really loud. She's like down the street from you at the conference at the Congress in Fresno. You could have called her.
I didn't think you'd be able to hear it. Maybe I just.
Yeah, no, we heard it. I don't even think. We heard it.
Well, you know what that means.
It's the pick of the week.
But before we do that, let's just quickly remind everybody. Well, first of all, thank everyone who have been contributing to the StarQuest Production Network, friends of SQPN. Thank you. Without your help, we wouldn't be here. And some of you are probably thinking, maybe that's a good idea. To stop contributing. So, if you want to find out more about donating to our nonprofit network's new evangelization cause, wow, that's good. Who did that? Very nice. Head over to sqpn.com/donate, and then you can find out more information about becoming a friend of SQPN. And Amazon.com, let's not forget that before we do our shopping, you know, we're coming up that time of year where we're starting to, somebody just mentioned 11 weekends until Christmas. I think, Maria, you mentioned something about that. So if you're going to do any online shopping and you'd like to use Amazon, please go over to skpn.com. Click on that link for one of the links. For,
Time is running out.
okay, that's time.
I don't know how to turn it off.
Time is running out for you. I'm going to boot you out of this darn thing. So anyway, I don't know what to say anymore. Click on the Amazon link and then head over and do your shopping, and then we get a portion of that purchase. And finally, if you need a blog or a podcast platform, Bluehost is a good place to go for that. So all that information is there on our website. So there you go. There are plugs for some of the ways that you can support our network. Thank you very much. Now let's go to the picks of the week. Maria Johnson.
Sir, I'm on it. I'm on it. Our good dear friend Steve Nelson is traipsing around Orlando, Florida, even as we speak, on business. So
Yeah, that's our pick of the week. Right there.
That's the pick of the week. So he posted this hilarious picture of an easy chair that looked really comical, which he detailed as a diva's chair. So my pick of the week is the diva herself, Lisa Hendy. Her book, The Grace of Yes, 8 Virtues for Generous Living, will be released on November 3rd.
Oh, wonderful.
You can pre-order that book. Go get it. I read it. I already read it because I got to get one of the reviewers' copies. Oh my gosh. It's just a fantastic book. It really is. You guys need to get it. It's a quick read. It's not really deep in the sense that it's hard to get through, but it's deep in the sense that it really makes you think about the grace of yes. You know, saying yes to the Lord in all the little ways that we can, and the big ways too. So the grace of yes. Also, it has the best cover ever. The Y in the yes looks like a martini glass or a little fish bowl or something. We call it a martini glass. We know it's just a little fish. And it's got a goldfish popping out of it. So it's like, you know, like when you're feeling like a fish out of water with the yes, but it's not. It's wonderful. Get it. Pre-order it now.
Excellent. I'd like to go next.
Please do.
Okay, and my pick of the week is Lynn Francisco, who helps us so much with this show, preparing show notes and everything else. And I just noticed in the chat room, she said, "Please do the Saints of the Week," because I spent a lot of time on that. So my pick of the week is the Saints of the Week. So let's just quickly talk about them. October 11th, which is today, is the feast of Pope St. John the 23rd, and tomorrow's the 28th Sunday in Ordinary Time. Let's see, October 13th, St. Edward the Confessor, which is also the Canadian Thanksgiving and Columbus Day. Oh, Canadian Thanksgiving, and also in the United States, Columbus Day. That's kind of a big deal up in the Northeast, I think.
I think Father Daryl's in there, so happy Thanksgiving, Father Daryl.
Happy Thanksgiving, Father Daryl. And if any of you are big proponents of Columbus, happy Columbus Day on Monday. Let's see, Pope St. Callistus I on the 14th, and then on the 15th, St. Teresa of Avila. Am I saying that right? St. Teresa?
Teresa of Avila.
Teresa of Avila.
Patron saint, thanks to all of you people out in the Catholic weekend community.
Sweet. And then October 16th, St. Hedwig and St. Margaret Mary Alacoque. Is that right? Alacoque?
Yep, Alacoque.
By the way, St. Hedwig.
Harry Potter's bird.
Well, you know what's interesting about St. Hedwig is that here, I'm in Los Alamitos, California. The Catholic parish here is St. Hedwig's. And my parents honestly thought that they named the church for the person that developed this big area here called Rossmore, a big housing development. Apparently the guy's name was Hedwig.
Oh, jeez.
And I said, no. That actually several hundred years ago, and was a Catholic Christian, and they are a saint. But they really thought because the guy gave so much money that they went ahead and named it St. Hedwig.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, that's, well,
there you have it.
The word for it. But anyway, so I'll probably won't be going to St. Hedwig's this weekend. I'll probably go to the cathedral when I get back home tomorrow night. Okay, St. Ignatius of Antioch on the 17th of October, and finally next weekend, the Feast of St. Luke on the 18th. There we go. So that is the Saints of the Week. Lynn, we got it. And the other thing I wanted to mention is also thank you to Lynn. Our good friend, the Catholic foodie, Jeff Young, has just published a book.
Yes.
And it is available for pre-order. And I'm trying to find it on one of these tabs that I had open.
Oh, I just had it too. His
Okay, I bet.
press, I think.
Around the Table with the Catholic Foodie, Middle Eastern Cuisine.
Cool.
It's in paperback, available November 1st, so less than a month.
I have a
Is there
recipe in the
something
book.
unique? Yeah, I was going to say.
You
Nice.
did? Interesting.
Yes, I have a preview for my book in Jeff's book. So you guys should all buy Jeff's book so that you can see a preview of my book.
How's that book going?
So many books.
It's going.
Well, that's all we're going to say.
I'm going to the coffee shop tomorrow to work on it.
So Jeff Young, better known as the Catholic Foodie, takes readers along on his recent pilgrimage to the Holy Land for a unique and savory experience of both faith and food. In addition to 60 original recipes, including one by Sarah Babulous, he includes stories about the history of Middle Eastern cuisine and the faith experiences you can only have in the kitchen and around the table. So please order your copy now, today, on Amazon. But before you go to Amazon.com, make sure you go to SQPN.com, click on the link, and then pre-order the book Around the Table with the Catholic Foodie.
Just in time to give to people for Christmas.
Indeed.
So there you go. Those are my picks of the week. Who wants to go next?
I'll go.
All right.
So I found this week a really cool graphic design software. It's up in the cloud, so you just create your little free account, and they give you templates for the correct size for doing posts for Facebook, for Twitter, for doing graphics to put on your Facebook and Twitter pages, podcast covers, this and that. It's called Canva, so Canva, canva.com. It's really cool and a really quick, easy way to create any neat graphics that you need to. So I just found it this week. Been having some fun playing around, and you guys should too. So.
Is that what you used for the Twitter thing that you did?
Yeah.
Oh,
I created new graphics for my Facebook and Twitter big cover photos, and so I used this program to pop them out pretty quickly, and was just having some fun. So
nice.
I've heard somebody else mention that in the last couple of weeks as well. Canva.
Yeah, it's really, really neat. I'm quite enjoying it, and it's great, especially if you don't have Photoshop skills. You can totally master this.
Excellent. So you don't have to have mad skills.
Correct. You do not have to have mad skills. So it's very Jeff friendly.
I think it's probably very Bago friendly.
It's drag and drop.
Okay, well, I'm not going
You're
to...
dropping dragons?
Yes, dropping the dragons.
Droppings. All right, Brother Corey Stika.
Well, my pick is everybody's probably heard about it in the news, but the bucket list baby, the story of they knew the child was going to have anencephaly, so they made up the list of places they want to take him, and of course he was born yesterday and died within a few hours. But it's just a beautiful story. First of all, a beautiful pro-life story, because of course, what's the reaction that most people would have on that, or that certain parts of our culture would want people to have: get an abortion, kill the child, and move on. And of course, this couple didn't. They took the baby throughout the world. They went to all these different places, took pictures, with the couple, and she was of course pregnant at the time. And just, it's a beautiful story of how important life is, that they realized the child was with them, that this baby was with them, even if they could only hold him for a couple hours. So I think that's just a beautiful story of life, a beautiful example of how precious we truly see life is, that even if human life is out of the womb for just a couple hours, it's still human life. It's still worthy of respect. It's still worthy of love. And I know it's heart. It has to be heartbreaking for this couple to have only be able to hold the child for a couple of hours, but I think they also realized that they had him with them for the whole 9 months.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I think it's a beautiful story and a beautiful example, especially when you have people that they're very public about. There's certain public officials recently who have been very public about the fact that they found out that they were going to have a child with a birth defect, and not even like anencephaly, which is fatal, but something like Down syndrome, which is very much not fatal, and there's a lot of people with Down syndrome that are very high functioning, but because it is a birth defect, they just abort the child and move on.
Hmm.
That's my pick of the week, is that beautiful story.
Well, thank you, Father. That's excellent. All right, well, it's time to wrap it up. So let's do so by saying, Father Corey, how can we learn more about you in the digital realm?
Well, easiest way to find me is Facebook, Twitter, Google+, Instagram. Can't guarantee I'll follow everyone, but you can find me there at Fr Corey Stica, last name spelled Sticha. My website is frcorey.org, and my first name is spelled Cory. I don't have an E in my name. A lot of people make that mistake. But it's frcorey.org. That's where I post my homilies. And then I'm also on SQPN's Secrets of Doctor Who.
Who?
Huh?
Exactly.
All right, thank you, Father. Maria Johnson, is it time for another cup of coffee?
It is time for another cup of coffee, and you need to make some time for another cup of coffee because I am suddenly writing all over it again. So I've got my reflection in there this week on the trip out to the Divine Mercy, but I've also got some other things. I threw in some poetry this week, and Steve and I have been playing back and forth with the photography thing, and I caught that bug again, so I've been doing the weekly photo challenge. So go see some of my pictures, too.
That would be BegoJohnson.com.
BegoJohnson.com, and follow me on Twitter, and I will endeavor to follow you back.
Okay, at BEGO, at Bego.
Yeah.
Sarah, Fabulous, our Catholic Drinky.
Yes, find me CatholicDrinky.com, not really, and on Twitter, really Twitter.
There really is CatholicDrinky.com. You just will not find it.
You just won't find me there. But yeah, you can. Yeah, also on Instagram. I like Instagram. It's pretty fun. Or at my local Whole Foods if you really want to hang out in real life.
There you go. Thank you, Sarah. And finally, I'm an airline pilot. I'm a guy, so I'm the airline pilot guy. Find me there. And on Twitter and Facebook,
You don't use any of those.
do some kind of whatever social thing it is and put airline pilot guy. And you know what? I probably won't even know you're there because sadly, I have enough trouble with just real life. So, speaking of that, I'm going to try to find out where some food is for this dog because I don't want it to starve and die on my watch. So that's going to be my weekend.
I'm calling the ASPCA on you.
Listen, all our pet-friendly peeps out there send feedback about his animosity.
No. So if you want to send some feedback, by the way, there is a feedback number.
We just don't know what it is at the moment.
I'm going to give you the wrong one. Shoot.
CatholicWeekend.sqpn.com feedback.
That'll do it. There you go.
Yeah, don't worry about the telephone because nobody uses it anyway. So
Send me an email to maria@sqpn.com and I'll forward it to the appropriate parties.
what is our number again?
I don't know.
I don't know. We'll figure it out for next week.
SPPN or something like that. Here, let me look at the chat room. I'm sure that somebody's probably trying to tell me.
Nope, they're not. Let's just close out the show.
So anyway, that's my weekend. I hope everybody's Catholic weekend's great. And we'll see you next week. Bye.
Oh, please find plenty of train wreck sound effects for that.
That was our best show yet.
Oh, yeah.
Don't you think?
Oh,
Steve,
yeah.
I'm not even going to listen to this mess.
I love the start where all kind of looking at each other like, okay, so what are we going to talk about? Twitter. Yeah, we can talk about Twitter.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, I'm like, I keep thinking, do I have time for a nap? That's what I'm thinking about. I think I do. One of my friends isn't coming over for like 2 hours, so I'm like, I can nap and get dressed. We're good. Totally good.
Coming over for 2 hours or in 2 hours?
In 2 hours. No, we're going to watch the football game, so.
Oh.
And I'm making white bean chicken chili.
Ooh,
Christy just made that earlier this week.
It's a thing.
Is it a thing? She sent me a picture of it. She's like,
Yeah,
this is delicious.
we need to have a chili beans or no beans argument, I think, next week on the show.
Yeah, beans or no beans.
You gotta have beans, don't you?
You got to ask people like
Well, ask people from Cincinnati.
We should. That's not even real chili.
I love the description I saw for that this
spaghetti.
week. That it's basically just spicy spaghetti sauce.
Yeah, that's what Father Kyle put
Yeah.
on Twitter.
Yeah,
It's very
exactly.
funny. Yeah, I started a fight this week on Twitter about beans or no beans. So
Nice.
We need to.
Beans are
You
not
know
the
what?
beans.
We need to bring some Texans on.
Well, hey, I gotta run. So
Okay. Well, go take a nap, take a shower, do your hair,
I don't have time for that
get
anymore.
some product.
I gotta get some coffee. Number one, some aspirin, some showering, and some dog food.
perfect. Sounds good.
You have
Good
a
luck,
great
Jeff.
day.
Thanks.
Thank you for being here with us today.
Well, thank you for joining me as well.
All right, I'll check you guys later.
Bye bye.
Bye.